Hey guys, I hope you're all doing very well. Welcome back to another video. And before I start, I just want to say a happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, and I hope you all had a really good day. Now, getting to the main topic of the video, Gordon Ramsay put up a video talking about his near-death situation where he got involved into a serious bike accident. And from the video, he was very clearly shaken up from the whole incident, and pretty much his awareness from putting the video out is the importance of wearing a helmet. So I just want to play the clip and just give you my reaction to it.
Hi guys, it's Gordon. I'd like to share a very important message with you all. You know how much I love cycling and triathlons and Ironman, etc. This week, unfortunately, I had a really bad accident and it really shook me.
So it's very clear from the start of the video that Gordon is very shaken from the incident. You can tell because he's literally holding one of his arms and he's just shaking his arms to try and collect his thought whilst talking about the whole incident. So this was a very traumatizing situation that he got himself into. So I think certainly from the beginning he was very composed to actually really speak about the whole thing as well whilst still recovering from the incident. I don't know how long ago the incident was, whether it really mattered or not, because it shouldn't. But it's very clear that he's made his intentions very clear to talk about cycling. And judging also the fact he does a lot of cycling usage, whether it's recreational as well as triathlon or Ironman and all those events he takes part in, he's a very advocate cyclist. So he really wants to make it very aware for a lot of cyclists out there that the importance of this video right at the start.
From those incredible trauma surgeons, doctors, nurses in the hospital that looked after me this week, they were amazing. But honestly, you've got to wear a helmet. I don't care how short the journey is. I don't care, the fact that these helmets cost money, but they're crucial. Even with the kids, a short journey, they've got to wear a helmet.
Gordon then spoke how thankful he was for all the doctors that treated him, that saved his life. But the main thing that Gordon really wanted to get across is the importance of wearing a helmet while cycling. Now, I'm only going to speak about it in the UK because I can't speak for any other country in terms of their laws. But I know in the UK that there is no laws around wearing a helmet while cycling, and most of the time wearing a helmet is a personal choice. Now, if I was cycling, I find it very strange why you would choose not to wear a helmet. Now, I'm not going to argue against people who don't want to wear a helmet. But if I was on the road and trying to reduce the risk and improve, my own safety, obviously the first choice I would make is to wear a helmet. And Gordon really highlights this point very clearly on why you should wear a helmet.
Now, I'm lucky to be standing here. I'm in pain. It's been a brutal week and I'm sort of getting through it. But I cannot tell you the importance of wearing a helmet.
So I didn't expect Gordon to reveal the injuries shown on display, but that level of bruising that he showed on his torso is crazy. I even find it hard to believe that you will ever get, that level of bruising even in an MMA fight. But again, Gordon highlights the points very clearly. You should always wear a helmet while you're cycling, regardless of the circumstances. And judging that injury shown on display, this was a very serious accident. So this was like just no minor accident. This was a very serious one. And he really stands on the point very clearly on why cyclists should wear helmets. And it's very hard, judging the looks of that injury, to find an argument against it.
But please wear a helmet, because if I didn't, honestly, I wouldn't be here now. Happy Father's Day.
A very clear and important message from Gordon Ramsay here, really highlighting the real importance of wearing a helmet following his very serious injury and incident. And the fact he's still alive following from that is massive thumbs up. So really happy for him, and I wish him all the very best and a very speedy recovery from it, because that must have been a very traumatic experience. Overall, the video itself is very positive, and I think for a lot of people who are cycling who may not wear a helmet before, hopefully this is a video that kind of changes their perspective. Like I said, I'm not going to lecture people who don't wear helmets while they're cycling. That's absolutely your choice. But considering the incident Gordon had, it saved his life and it did work. So you can't dismiss the argument that somehow wearing a helmet didn't save his life. it can significantly reduce the risk of serious injury and potentially death. So, very, very positive video. Great to see him put this video out to his massive following, and I'm sure it will be a good positive change. However, some people don't view his video was there for positive change and actually improving people's behavior when cycling and considering wearing a helmet as a good thing. They somehow want to twist the argument that helmets are not as safe as what people think they are, and they somehow treat the use of wearing a helmet as overall terrible, a waste of time, and bad. Now, one individual in question really fought so hard on Twitter to really defend the idea that you should not wear a helmet whilst you're cycling, really going against Gordon's video and just saying that he's just somehow wrong in every aspect. And he just constantly just replied and replied and replied throughout the whole thing to defend the idea that you should not wear a helmet. I'm sure you guys probably are aware of him. Most likely if you're in the UK or if you've watched his YouTube videos, that's how I've known him. But his name is Cycling Mikey. So I'm not going to go over his YouTube channel or his videos because that's something else for you to consider in your own time. But I do want to talk about him on Twitter because this was my first exposure to Cycling Mikey on Twitter. And I have to tell you, his Twitter is so much worse than what I would have expected. Let me tell you the story. He spent his whole day on Gordon Ramsay's video just making reply after fucking replies about defending the idea that somehow cyclists should not wear a helmet, and he produces some very, very terrible points against the idea of wearing a helmet. His first reply to his video was complete shite, Gordon, and then he tries to justify the idea of not wearing a helmet by putting up graphs saying death per billion kilometers cycled versus the average helmet wearing rate in those countries. Now, just imagine how much of a loser and a sad case you really have to be to go out of your own way and make a response like that to a video with good intentions. And clearly a video that Gordon Ramsay put out that he nearly could have died from if he didn't wear a helmet. Now, the fact that he did wear a helmet did save his life. Now, I'm not here to say, like I said before, wearing a helmet is not the be or end all of every road collision accident out there, but it can significantly reduce the risk. Now, obviously, when he put that response out, people were going on to his response and dogpiling on him because he was making so many terrible points. And he still, went throughout his whole day replying and replying just to kind of peddle on this non-helmet wearing idea. Now, the first point that Cycling Mikey does point out is that the point of wearing a helmet, it doesn't improve road safety for cyclists. And he also calls wearing a helmet an unnecessary distraction. And he thinks the bigger issue to improve road safety for cyclists is better cycling infrastructure and also better policing. Now, let's give an example here. If Gordon Ramsay took the advice from Cycling Mikey and not wore a helmet following that accident, let me tell you something, Gordon Ramsay would not survive. Okay? This is a very, very terrible take. Like, to say that wearing a helmet doesn't improve, road safety as a cyclist, it's just outright wrong and delusional. Now, again, I'm probably going to make this point a lot of times throughout this video, but wearing a helmet will reduce the risk. It's not going to be the absolute solution to every single accident as a cyclist on the road. It's not, going to solve every problem. But one thing for sure is that in some circumstances, it can significantly reduce the risk. But yet somehow Cycling Mikey goes against the idea of still against wearing helmets for some odd reason, like it's somehow so important to him. And he also makes the argument it's somehow a distraction. I don't know what the distraction is. For you, it seems it's more convenient that you make it a distraction to keep whining about it on your Twitter. That seems to be your distraction, I guess. But I wouldn't think that cyclists would ever view wearing a helmet as a distraction. I mean, and it doesn't take even that long to even just put it on your head and just go out your day and just knowing the fact that as a cyclist you'll be much more safer wearing a helmet than you would not. Also, you do make the point about improving infrastructure around cyclists. Now, that I can agree with. I mean, I do think the UK makes a lot of strive to improve cycling safer. I mean, there's lots of cycle lanes and there's also cycling traffic as well. It's not all perfect, don't get me wrong, but there are things there that does seem to be an improved infrastructure for cyclists. Also, I really do question whether you really do have a mental illness or not, because the amount of times you really do peddle on the idea about helmets that don't make it safer on the roads is ridiculous. Now, obviously, the helmet's not going to be the be or end all for every single accident, obviously, and everyone make that point to you, but yet you still keep on defending the idea against helmets and mostly about infrastructure. And you think that somehow people on the internet will always, point the idea that cyclists should wear helmets to improve their safety. Nobody is saying that. So every single point you try and make is you're just talking to invisible enemies right now. And you're just fighting ghosts or you're hearing voices. Another one of your other dogshit takes you have is that you also like to label, motorists or car drivers as hypocrites for not wearing a helmet in their car, which is such a silly thing to say because a car has more safety features that a bike doesn't. A car has a thing called a seatbelt and an airbag. In a bike, you don't have any of that. I mean, I don't know if your bike has built-in ejector seats that you see from a James Bond film, but obviously they don't exist. So really, you have no safety mechanism in a bike. The only thing that you could really have as a safety is to prevent yourself from head injuries is a helmet. And again, like I said, I'll keep repeating myself. The helmet is not going to be your be or end all to preventing cycling injuries and head injuries for every single aspect around you. And you still keep harping on this idea about why you shouldn't wear a helmet. So you also mentioned that the reasons not to wear a helmet as a cyclist is because somehow drivers will make more risky decisions around you when wearing a helmet. I don't think so. I wouldn't really look at drivers like somehow making a more risky decision around you, to like a close pass or a dangerous overtake, to somehow justify the idea is that, oh, he's wearing a helmet, he's probably got more safety, so I could have the benefit of doing a dangerous pass. Drivers don't think that way. Most people who probably would see a cyclist wearing a helmet would look at the most responsible outcome for their own safety. Now, like I said, I'm not going to be a driver that's somehow going to come out of my car and just say and point fingers at any cyclist that doesn't wear a helmet saying, oh, you have to wear a helmet. It's completely within their choice. But no driver is going to look at that individual who is cycling saying, oh, he's wearing a helmet, I make a more risky decision around them. That is just a complete nonsense take. He then also said that helmets are also no use in collision involving a motor vehicle. Obviously, no one is somehow saying that wearing your helmet is somehow like body armor or somehow made of steel, that somehow you're going to survive every single collision. You're just making completely nonsense take here, and you're just fighting against invisible enemies or invisible trolls on the internet to somehow justify your own delusion. One thing that I would say that isn't delusional is that definitely wearing a helmet does significantly reduce the risk of serious injuries, head injuries, and potential death. And that was the case with Gordon Ramsay. But clearly Cycling Mikey wanted to make this more about himself and try to defend against the idea of wearing a helmet. But during the making of this video, he deleted all his replies. So he's really just a coward and doesn't stand on his own beliefs at all, because he knows how wrong he is. Now, I think Gordon's video is a clear inspiration to improve the awareness of using helmets. Not just in general, but also it had an effect on myself. And this was the why I was making this video today. So many years back, I went on a family holiday, and with the family we went cycling. Now, during this period when we went cycling, there was heavy rain. And unfortunately, what ended up happening, my sister had a very serious injury because she fell off her bike. Now, when she fell off her bike, she received multiple cuts to her nose, her mouth, and lots of potential injuries that could have affected her head. Now, we all wore helmets during that period, and for my sister, when she fell off her bike and received those injuries, the helmet broke. And you're probably thinking, oh, the helmet broke, then it just shows that it didn't protect her, did it? Well, the helmet protected her skull. Let's look at it this way. If she didn't wear a helmet, and instead of the helmet breaking, it would have been her skull breaking, it would have been a very different scenario. Okay? So it really does show that the helmets does provide protection, even though they're not like this made of body armor, made of iron and steel that will somehow have the durability to protect you from every single scenario. Obviously, it doesn't, but in some cases like this, it can. Okay, so it does provide the protection needed for anything that could be potentially serious. Okay, because if you have something that could break your skull in any potential way that could cause like a concussion or a brain bleed, it's very, very serious and potentially life threatening. So instead that the helmet broke rather than my sister's skull, it helped her, and it's probably saved her life. So there's really no arguments for me about the idea of wearing a helmet. I always would look at cyclists more responsible and thinking about their own safety by wearing a helmet. Like I said earlier, if you want to wear a helmet, that's completely within your choice, completely within your right. I don't care. But if you're going to stand on this whole moral belief and you're just going to go on the internet and troll yourself for the idea that not wearing a helmet is no benefit to anyone, then I think for me you're just completely wrong and delusional. And I really don't understand why you even exist to even somehow have this vindication of this whole idea of not wearing a helmet. It's just a completely dogshit take. But anyways, very happy that Gordon Ramsay survived this incident. I think the video is a clear inspiration and really will reach, have the reach of will to increase awareness of wearing helmets. Very happy for him. And yeah, that's about it. See you later.